Welcome to Womanhood Episode 5, MS and Family Planning. Fertility, contraception, pregnancy, symptoms, relapses, treatments. There's a lot for women with MS to weigh up when they're making decisions about their future. Has your MS played a role in deciding whether to have children? For me, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Freaks me out.
I think, Evie, you were saying the similar...
My decision not to have children is entirely down to my MS.
Absolutely, yeah.
It completely.
See, I'm like on the fence with it. It's so hard. Like, I've always wanted a baby. Like, I've wanted a baby since I was 16.
Me too.
When I was little, I used to like hope secretly that I'd like get pregnant by accident because I wanted to have a baby that bad. And then I thought I'd have a baby by the age and now I'm like 34, and I'm like, not only is it like the MS situation, it's the fact that actually fertility wise, like I'm getting older. Yeah. Like, and I was watching a TV program the other day, and she was the same age as me, and she was talking about it, and I was like, can you not, please? Because
hey, Naomi Cameron just had a baby. She's like, how old now?
Well, this is what my therapist said to me, and my therapist was like, yeah, she was like, there's people, in their 40s that are having babies, and it's like there's sort of different sides to it. So there's like, physically, would I be able to look after a child if I was a single parent? Absolutely fucking not. Like, no way. I'm too tired. I can barely look after my fucking self. Like, so actually that wouldn't be fair on the child. But I would equally have to but if I had a partner that was very supportive and actually, was in a very loving relationship, would I be able to do it? Potentially, yes. But have I met that person at 34? I don't know. So like, and also I'm not going to have a baby after 6 months with someone or a year, because I can't trust that person to be the person I need them to be if I don't know them well enough. And then it goes back to the timescale thing, because I'm like, we've got like
the clock is ticking.
In 2 years' time, I'm going to be 36, and then I'm like, but then what if it doesn't work out? Say with this guy that I'm seeing now, and then I'm going to have to start all over again. And I'm like, it's just, it's something I'm very aware of, and I try not to get too upset about it, because like I say, it was like, I want a baby, like I do, but equally I also ask myself, would it be fair to that child? Would I be able to look after them? And then equally, that child might have MS as well, like, later down the line, and would I want to? But then I was saying, I go back and forth in my head, and then I was thinking, but would I want to not be here? Like, if my mum knew that I was going to have MS and she would decide to not have me, I want to be here. I'm glad I'm here, despite the fact I've got a horrible disability that I hate. I'm happy to be alive. And actually, I think that the amount of fucking therapy I've had, I'd be a really good mum. And I want to pass.
I've worked so hard.
Yes, and I want to pass that on. And actually, I might not be like the best parent in the world, like on paper, but actually, I know my child would be so loved and would grow up with with good morals, and like I'd be breaking like generational trauma. So it's like like there's so many things with it, but it's hard. But I respect anyone's individual decision when it comes to this, because it is such an individual.
Can I just say, I want to be clear, like having MS alone isn't a reason not to have a child. And I just like, if I felt like I was able to, I think like disabled parents and disabled mums and mums with MS make the best parents. And it's solely my own situation, how long I've had MS, how it impacts me now. My fatigue is just beyond anything. Like I just physically wouldn't be able to safely look after a child. And that's the only thing that's stopped me.
I think MS has made me selfish.
Right.
I've had a partner 15 years. They're amazing, and she would absolutely be like the best parent ever. And she would support me because like she supports me now. But it's taken too much for me. So I'm right now with like, fatigue and all that stuff is a thing. I'm taking my life back from MS. So I'm like, no, I want to travel the world. It's hard. I bought a dog. I have a dog. You have a dog, right? That's hard enough. Where's the dog going when I go on holiday? Let alone a child. And then I'm like, look, I just want to be.
You can take a child with you, I think.
But I don't want to. Yeah, that's the problem. I really, really don't. I'll be the best auntie, at least for now. Say that you'll see me and you'll be like, where's that double buggy come from? But for now, my person sitting in this room now, I'm just too selfish. I want to, and I also want to make everyone, I feel like my thing with MS is, my goal is to normalize so many things for our community and having these kinds of conversations that I feel like that is my child. That's the thing I've birthed into the universe. Yeah.
I wish I felt more like because I'm like you, that's been a difficult decision for me to reach, and it's hard. It's been emotional. I actually think I might cry. And there is a grief behind it, and that's something that's not spoken about. Absolutely. Oh my God, I do not want to be recorded crying.
It's
Cut
okay.
this out.
It's a difficult subject.
This is reality.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that I'm lucky because I had my children. I know that when I think back, I had MS when I was pregnant, but I didn't even know what MS was. So I just thought if I blink that eye, it's green. And if I blink that eye, it's yellow. That's just one of those things. Yeah. It's not. That was like optic neuritis-y things. But I was like, this is fun thing to do on a Saturday morning. But when I think back, and I did, but I didn't have the knowledge that I had my first relapse when my baby girl was about 3 or 4 months old. And then it was like, oh, okay. And when I think back to those early years, I was so, if I look back at a picture, oh my gosh, my eyes were great. I was so unwell. And I actually don't know how I did it. I was lucky that I had, like, my mum was supporting me, but all the grandparents work full time still. And so it really was just me. My husband works long hours, and I don't know how I did it. I managed to get through it, but I was literally learning how to look after children, what MS is, how it's going to affect me. I had no idea. And back then, when I first got diagnosed, I was so fatigued. I remember just sitting, holding like my babies, like my eyes rolling, thinking, oh my God, like what is our future going to be like? And I used to be so scared about it. And I think, you know, the longer you have MS, the more things you try, the more knowledgeable you are, the more things come into your mind, or you learn to control things, or you try different DMT, all these things. I think of it as like waves, like you're on the crest of a wave where you're, you know, doing all the things that you should do to be healthy, and you're trying really hard, and the wave sort of falls, and it's like, oh, okay, that hasn't worked, and now maybe we're not very well, so let's see what else is out there. And I just think of it like that. That's how I like see even my motherhood is literally like waves. And now we're sort of coasting through, and they're bigger. They don't need me to do as much. The thing is, me having MS, raising children, they're very independent, because I've been like, I'm so tired. Let's see if you can pour milk into that bowl. Can you do it? Yes, you can do it. Okay, so now you can make yourself breakfast. Let's do this together. Can you do toast? Let's do it together. And if we can make some toast, you can do cereal and toast, so you can feed yourself, you know? These are things, it's like, I guess me having MS makes them more independent, you know?
Yeah, that's made the decision harder.
Very empathetic. And I think, that's it. They're caring, and that's because, you know, they've seen me, and I hid my MS from them because they're little still, 5 and 7. I had to say, look, I'm not going to be here. Mummy's got this. I described it as like electrical wires that have got like cuts in them, or they're not working properly. And I showed them this hand, which it's all right to say, but it can be very shaky. And I think that was a realisation for them. And me being away, I was away for 2 to 3 weeks. I had to stay at my mum's house because it's a lot. And I had no immune system. And I just if I was at home, I'd be doing things. And I just got dogs, like we're proper, full on, all the things. And so I had to be away. And I think since then, my children really had an understanding. They're like, is your leg okay? Oh, I haven't mentioned it in weeks. I'm like, yeah, no, it's okay. And they're like, they're more concerned, and they are more compassionate, and they do, as they're growing, they are having an understanding of it. And where are you going to hospital? Do you need to go? I'm like, no, I've done that. I'm okay. I just need to have a blood test. And they're concerned about it. And I think it's kind of a bit of a balancing act of playing it down, but not playing it down too much, because it's something that's present in their life. My therapist described it as an anaconda sliding through the room. You can all pretend the anaconda's not there and just keep treading over it, but sooner or later the anaconda's going to wind itself around something, and it's going to get stuck, and you're going to have to pay it attention. And that's the way I think about my parenthood and MS, is giving the anaconda enough attention that it's not, you're going to notice if it starts to wind its way around you, you know?
I feel like for me, I consider my partner, my husband, so much in the baby havingness that like I would feel guilty for doing it now. I want to do it now. Like you, I feel like it's my purpose, that I need to have children and I want to take care of a child. But I feel like I'm not well enough at the moment with my mobility, with everything really. I'm not there, and I want to be selfish like you, Roxy, and experience life, because I spent so much time staying at home because I didn't really want to acknowledge MS, and I wanted to still be like me, like the person I was before. So I just was a recluse and stayed inside. That now I want to be outside and have a summer and experience life, but I want to have a baby. There's all these different things that I need to consider, and my husband is one of those things, because I know if I did it now, he would have to really step up. And I don't think that is fair enough for me to do that, because I want to be that mother that I want to be, and I wouldn't be able to be her right now. And I would have to lean on him so much. I don't even know, he's scared as well. He's like, I wouldn't want you to carry a baby because you might trip. And you might, going up the stairs, that might happen to you, and you can't do this, and you're a high risk because of all of these things. And there's all these things to think about that I don't think people realise.
It's just so much.
It's so many things.
It's not like one or two things. It's like just so many.
Considering surrogacy and all of these things, like it is his worst nightmare to lose me just for trying to have a baby, because our rates of dying through pregnancy are so much higher. I can't risk that.
Black women.
For my husband, I need to be here for him.
Our pain's not
really.
pain. We don't feel pain.
It's like, maybe a surrogate, but I want a belly. I want a baby.
You want to experience
I want to do
it.
But I can't do it with these legs. I need to be more comfortable in, how am I going to get around? How will I manage with a child? How will I take them to the park? How will I do all of these things with fatigue, with mobility, with strength? My hand's not working. I need to be in a place where things are kind of plateaued so that it's normal for me and I can figure it out and be fine with it before a child enters.
I want to say, though, as someone that's got a lot of disabled friends, I have disabled friends that have different disabilities. I've got a friend who's blind, who has a baby, goes out with her guide dog, and is fully an amazing mum. I have friends in wheelchairs that literally make me, if I was ever a mum, would look terrible. And the amount of stuff that they do, there is ways around it. If there's something you really, really want in life, I think you can do it with the right adaptations. And I don't think we should put that limitation on ourselves, because the thing about MS is unpredictable. We don't know if it's going to get better or worse. So if you really, really want to do anything in life with MS, do it now. Honestly, think about it, plan it, make sure you're financially maybe more stable so you can buy the aid if you need a certain sling. We need an addition to a mobility aid that we already have, a little baby thing, this and that, you can do it. But I find that we limit ourselves, and we are limitless if we want to be, and it's a social construct as well, people looking at us and feeling like, why have you done that? You've got MS. That's an emotional issue. So I'm going to ask everyone, what advice would you give to a woman with MS considering having a family, with all the things we've spoken about? What would you say to them? If everyone's got 1 point, that'd be nice. And you could be talking to yourself too, put it that way for some of you.
Yeah, I'd say it's just a very personal, individual decision.
Yeah, I was going to say, think about your own situation, your own unique
Don't
situation.
Listen to other people as well. But equally, what you said, Roxy, there are, that's where I'm at as well. If I really want this, I reckon I could probably find a way of doing it. And I'd try and apply that to everything in my life. And it's fucking hard, but it's possible and doable. But equally, that's a very personal decision, and you should not listen to other people.
Saying that, because I feel like there are, of course, ways around so many things that I try to do, but it's also okay to say, actually, I am sick, and there is an illness aspect to having MS that isn't just physical disability, that has more, ways that you can adapt to doing things. And it's actually okay to go, do you know what, this is hard, but I just can't do this because I'm sick, and it's okay to not have to stick two fingers up to MS and go, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway all the time. Do you know?
Yeah, definitely. Do not have a baby for that reason, just to prove the second point, But equally, this is another thing, I've had to make peace with the fact that I might not have a baby. And actually thinking about that, I'm like, okay, that's really sad. And it's it is grief. There's grief with that, which is completely valid, and you're allowed to be sad and fucking annoyed about it. Someone I've got a friend that's basically, she's been I don't think you should have kids, and it's it's easy for you to say, mate, you've got 2 kids. So actually, as much as you think that I wouldn't be able to do it, I've not experienced carrying a child and giving birth, and that as a woman I want to experience.
There's a loss there.
I deserve to have that life experience, because it's one of the rites of passage. But equally, I'm trying to make peace with it being either or.
And can we please stop hammering home this? Oh, it's protective.
Yeah,
9 months of your life.
And like what Roxy just said, like the relapse rate after you've given birth
Yeah.
is like pretty high as far as that. I kind of know that to be standard. So yeah, imagine trying to look after a newborn and like wanting to enjoy that time with the newborn baby as well, and like being in a fucking horrific relapse.
But
like,
it's not something that's a given.
yeah, true,
No,
and that
I
as well.
think it
So-
depends on your support network as well.
And your good
Massively.
neurologist that's there
I
with
was
the
literally gonna say your
DMT
healthcare
and the stuff straight after. Like, there's people I know, like, you've had pregnancy, you've given birth. Yeah, you can't breastfeed maybe on certain DMTs, but you've chosen, okay, I'm not going to breastfeed, I'm going to take DMT. So then I have more mobility and less fatigue and stuff, so then I can possibly do more like I want to, rather than, it's a choose your own journey kind of
It
vibe.
might not be the way that you always pictured it, but if it's something that you've decided you want to do, I guess you have to be open to the idea that maybe it won't be that way and it will be a different version to how you pictured it. But if it's something you've thought about, you've worked through, it works for you in your situation, whatever, then just having flexibility about it.
MS and family planning recap. There's so much to consider in family planning. Research what current and future life adaptations might be needed. It's okay to put your needs first. Be flexible. Parenthood with MS may be different than you imagine. Speak to your healthcare team and get a support network in place.